Hi, Kathy. We're back with Layla. Anyway, we never heard from that trainer, so what I think we'll do is we'll call them. That'll be a good episode. We'll call them on the phone and put it on speakerphone and see what they have to say about Layla. You know, we're going... So I was like, I like the new twist. I like the new twist. And I was going to... maybe that email didn't go through because it was kind of like one of those forms that you fill out. I mean, let's just assume the best. So since that didn't work, we'll take the next step and call them, find out what insight they can give us. But let me tell you what she did yesterday. She tried to go after Frisbee. And again, what I'm talking about with the collars, we're using the collar to subordinate the impulses. We can't take it away. And I mean, again, I would never go to the point of telling you to leave her alone with that little dog that she's already attacked. I mean, you know, she's going to have this collar forever. No, not forever, just like 9 years. Anyway, but she's doing good, girl. And again, I'm walking a fine line here. I've got to have a dog that's interested in me, that's interested in what I have to say. And again, that's what you have to be. And I've got to be able to interject this collar. I will tell you what my job is right now. My job is to start incorporating this Nick into the dynamic. And I'm going to tell you why that's my job. Because that's what we're going to need to reinforce the ability to subordinate impulses later on. Because I let her know now, if she even looks at my little bulldog funny, because I'll tell you what, that little bulldog's a scrappy little bulldog. But I let her know, dogs are hyper aware. If I could give you a description and remind me to write that down for the book, Summer, that dogs are hyper aware of what you're doing. If you think I could sneak away from that bulldog, please. Do you think I could sneak away from that bulldog, Summer, without that bulldog seeing me? Even with his little beady eyes, he would still see me. All right, look, so, and he is, I will tell you who he is. And that's part of what I have to tell, you know, I'm going to have in the book, too. And I say book, but it's a video book. Oh, I made up a new thing. Just like I made up the word Jump Street for this one video. Even though Jump Street is 2 words, I made it into one. You know, you've got to know who they are. And I got a pretty good idea who she is. And a lot of it is a bully. You know, she's picking on Frisbee because he was new. And everything that oozes from his pores says, I'm a big beanbag. I'm a beanbag with legs. Beat up my beanbag. And so then she just now growled at Smokey, the new one. So she's not going to be getting, you know, near these dogs again. But, you know, what I'm going to have to say is what it's going to take to reinforce that is the Nick. So now my job, I've already introduced the pager. I need to start adding the Nick. And I have. And I'm going to tell you what the difference is, what we have to do today. Is I have to start adding the Nick on the leash so that she understands that Nick is me, that she's not getting all hinky. All right, I'm going to page that bulldog. I was going to say, if I get it into a run, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And that took a little impulse down. And I'm going to tell you how I subordinate the impulse. Down. Yay, good, yay, yay, yay. Down. It's with that. It's with the down. It's really the only thing we've got. But what I have to be able to, because remember before, if you even stepped on the leash, we need to go back and find that one video where I go to Summer, I said never step on the leash. Yeah. I was acting. That was just the character. I'm not a real trainer. And in fact, that's what I should have said to that woman that said, you know, I know considerably more than you. I said, well, I'm just an actress. I mean, I've done some research into dog training, but I mean, obviously, you know, you're going to know considerably more than me because you're what was it you were again? You know, and then I'm not being mean, but they would end up having some really boring job, you know, like administrator in the basement, you know, tallying up numbers, you know. So what's happening now is I'm not getting any chance. But let me tell you what I just did with that bulldog. I did the pager. He didn't turn. He didn't have any reaction. So I went to my nick, whatever my nick was set on, 15, and I went, hop, hop, hop. Then he came. Then I added my pager and my hand signal. Down. Down. So I'm going to tell you where I'm going to add the nick, because I need to start adding a little bit of the nick for the down. And yes, I know that collar isn't buckled around. But I say to myself, it's most important for me to get the collar on. If the dog starts getting hinky, if I'm buckling it around, that's not worth it to me. What I need to do, and I've only got my nick, I'm going to put my nick on about 10. I'm going to start adding heel. Layla? Heel. Layla. Good. So you see how I've already done it. Heel. Down. And I do, and I want to ask for specificity from this dog as far as I want it downing. Down. That right there. We're looking for a school. If you are a dog trainer certified that can take this bulldog and train it, we're willing to pay. We're willing to pay. Look, so I'm doing the same thing I'm doing like with the puppies. I want to add my turn. And I helped myself out in the beginning by doing that recall down. See how I'm giving her the food way over there? Because I am asking. Right, it fell on her leg. If the bulldog. Down. Down. Good. Yay. Down. Yeah. Layla. Good. Heel. Good. We don't want to put her in too much. That's the problem. And these are the treats I got. I think what we might need to do, Summer, is like make them into little meatballs. But I got to tell you, I'm loving the building. Layla. Down. But it's still, down. See how I'm feeding her over there? And what that's doing is making her legs kick out. Yay! If you look at the way she was downing before, it's more relaxed now, and I'm back to my yay. So what I can do. Good. Oh, good girl. Good. Wonderful. Down. Good. See how the bulldog seems to have the same plan? I mean, obviously it's worked before. Maybe he should run. Maybe I can psychically tell him to go down to the pond. Let me try. Summer's like, I kind of bought into the psychic thing in the beginning, but not anymore. I'll tell you what's I love is this dog's body language, and I'm going to tell you what else I'm getting is this paw being bent. And that's, again, that's a subconscious gesture. And you can make them conscious of it. Because my friend Cadlin makes them lay all the way. I've done a lot of dogs, and we may do that with her. That would be a good one to do, because we haven't done one like that before. Where I actually define down as that paw being curled. Like this, with the paw being curled. And if somebody said, oh, well, it's already down. And I would say to them, no, my definition of down has become this, So, that would be like somebody saying, get in the car, assuming that meant buckle your seatbelt. And they said, well, you get in the car. Well, but what I mean when I say get in the car is buckle your seatbelt too. So you didn't follow through the extra step. right, so what I want to do, and I'm doing the same thing I'm doing with bumpers, I'm going to add my turn, and then I'm going to do my down. Let me see if I can trick the bulldog off to the pond. Layla! Good girl! See, she felt that feel. Yay! Yay! See how my arm is on that leash?
Oh, shoot.
Good. Down. Yay! Down. Good, yay! I did add my nick right there. I will tell you, at 10, I don't know as the dog really felt it. Down. Now I'm not, she's not going to get it till she does the kick out. Now watch, she's going to do it. Down. Yay! Summer's like, yeah. All right, we'll be right back.